Yes, indeed. It's another feel-good Friday right here on Morning Cafe. Jina langu ni Fred Ndimuli, karibu sana. Nikueleze nini tunashughulikia siku ya leo. It is exactly, before we even take a look at the headlines, 68 days to the end of 2025. 62 days to Christmas, wale ambao wana keep countdown. Na tutaendelea hivyo hivyo. It is also the youth perspective today here. We'll be getting to hear voices of young Kenyans and what they think about the aftermath of the last 2 weeks. A lot has happened, even politically. What do they think? Let's take a look at the headlines. Matters Business. Kenya in talks to pay Adani over cancelled electricity deal. That's a Business Daily. Ruto kusuka upya serikali. Gazeti la Taifa Leo. Another cabinet reshuffle looms. That's a Daily Nation. And I think that's one of the biggest discussions. Linked to this same headline on the front page of the Standard. Ruto after Raila. I think that's the biggest discussion this week. Okay, what happens after Raila? Yeah. No smooth ride for Ruto in ODM takeover plot. Another long headline from the Weekend Star there. And on People Daily, Ruto, the student who defied his teacher, Raila. So these are dailies. A lot of Ruto, Raila still on the front pages. And Kenya still trying to understand, okay, what happens following the death of Raila Odinga. So these are the big headlines. And we'll be back to take a look at them in depth in a short while. As I said, it is a youth perspective, and we'll be having these young Kenyans in studio today. Jared Oye, who is the ODM youth leader. Winfred Asiko, political analyst. Kipkorir Brian, who is the chairperson, UDA National Youth Congress. And Nick Mwangi, the Secretary General of the Kenya Ahadi Party. Just telling us what they feel about the events of the last 2 weeks or so. We're going to be having another conversation starting at 7:30 on matters medical tourism. Dr. Mohamed Abdullah Alda, who's the founder and CEO of Sage Healthcare Concierge Services, will be telling us more about this. Do stand by for that conversation. But after that, of course, being a feel-good Friday, DJ Kicks will be in studio starting at 8, and Bansi Kimuyu, our weekend queue, of course, will be here. So, kadunda kidogo hivi pale, just to usher in the weekend. Let's get to take a look at the regional dailies, and we start off in Uganda. The Daily Monitor talks about the nomination of MPs yesterday. So the Electoral Commission in Uganda has bagged about 4 billion shillings, Ugandan money, as MP nominations close. So they're now ready for elections. The Electoral Commission yesterday wound up nomination of parliamentary aspirants after clearing more than 1,300 candidates to participate in the 2026 polls. All those who expressed interest in parliamentary seats paid a nomination fee of 3 million shillings, Ugandan money. Is it just me, or in Uganda they like putting people's faces on the front pages? Watu wengi ambao hawajulikani. These are aspirants for different parliamentary races in Uganda in the elections that will be held on January 15th next year. So that's the front page of the Daily Monitor in Uganda. They talk about the Kiriadongo bus accident, and survivors there narrate the ordeal. This is where 2 buses collided and a lot of people died, 46 in total. So the aftermath of that, at least there's mention of that there on the top strip of the Daily Monitor. The New Vision, matters elections, also given prominence here, but the main story is about UA staff jailed over 9 billion shilling fraud, and the court has summoned 4 others. It's an ongoing court case. Elsewhere, Bishop Wamika's scandal burns out after 46 years of service. But the MP nominations yesterday, and yes, I told you, wanapenda kuweka picha za watu kwenye kurasa za mbele za magazeti yao. Sielewi ni kwa nini. Watu wengi ambao wengine hawajulikani. MP nominations and aspirants gets Electoral Commission approval. Meanwhile, there are those who are already unopposed. Anita Among is among them. She's unopposed. And they make mention of that Kiriadongo accident as well. So a probe has been instituted and it has already started. Down there, kama kawaida, President Yoweri Museveni campaigning, and he's advised Pader on posterity. So picha ya rais pale akipiga kampeni ahead of the January 15, 2026 elections. So a lot of election matters and campaigns given prominence in Uganda. Tanzania wanazungumzia nini leo? We start off with the Citizen. New cross-border snags put East Africa traders on edge. Cross-border traders in the EAC are raising fresh concerns over delays and high costs linked to trade permits and certificates. There's a new bottleneck that is hampering the flow of goods and threatening livelihoods across the region. And yes, a lot of traders have been complaining about some of the issues that they face at the borderlines. Remember, it is only 5 days to election day in Tanzania, meaning they only have 3 days left to campaign. So kule siasa imenoga, na kama kawaida Rais Samia Suluhu Hassan is the only candidate on the front page of this paper. Samia pledges to build an inclusive, equitable Tanzania. Na ni kama ninaweza tembea hivi alafu tukuje tuone mambo mengi zaidi. They talk about attempted mobile money fraud down 10%, but there was also an accident, the SGR. They call it an operational error blamed for first SGR accident. Services have since resumed, but it is an issue that occurred there. And they say there was a challenge in operations, not on the line. The infrastructure remained intact, except that an operational error caused the problem. That's why we were able to restore services quickly. And this is Mr. Machibia Shiwa, the TRC Director General, talking about that SGR accident. They've had the SGR, I think, only for about a year. Already they've had an accident. We've had our SGR for a bit longer. No incident like that has been reported so far. But matters elections, countdown continues, 5 days to elections in Tanzania. And it is a story there on the front page of the Mwananchi as well. Pale chini, Samia ahidi kujenga nchi jumuishi. Na kama kawaida, yeye tu peke yake ndio yuko kwenye kurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili. Kumbuka, kuna watu 17 wanawania urais kule Tanzania, lakini magazeti ya Tanzania hayaongei kuhusu mwingine isipokuwa Samia Suluhu Hassan. Hapa lakini habari kubwa leo wanasema yuko wapi Heche? Heche sasa anajulikana Kenya sana. Heche ndio yule jamaa alikuja kuattend funeral ya Raila Odinga, akashikwa pale kwa boda Isebania. Alafu wa Kenya wakaenda wakamfurusha kutoka kwa, okay fine, they freed him from custody. Sijui inasemwaje kwa Kiswahili. They freed him from custody. Samia Suluhu Hassan akakasirika sana. Sasa naomba kwa hapa familia yake na Chadema wahoji mahali alipo baada ya kuchukuliwa na polisi akiwa mahakama kuu. Ndugu wataka majibu kwa polisi na watu wa siku. Oktoba tarehe 22 ndio tarehe ambayo makamu mwenyekiti wa Chadema John Heche alichukuliwa na askari akiwa mahakama kuu jijini Dar es Salaam. Ndio huyu jamaa Heche. Alizua zogo sana pale kwa boda pale Isebania alipokuwa akijaribu kuingia Kenya kwenda kwa mazishi ya Raila Odinga wiki jana. Kwingineko, NMB aweka rekodi mpya ubora Afrika. Ni habari kamili kwenye ukurasa wa 20 wa gazeti hili. So masuala ya siasa na kampeni yazidi kunoga kule Tanzania, na tutazidi kuangalia hayo tukiendelea kwa siku zijazo. We'll be back to take a look at the local dailies in depth in a short while. For now, let's take a look at the weather situation in most parts of the country. Ndio ujue weekend yako itaenda namna gani. Unajua, as you make plans for the weekend, kuna wale wako na maharusi area tofauti, kuna wengine sasa wanataka kwenda holiday kama Diani, na Diani this morning it's about 18 degrees Celsius. It is a partly cloudy day, some rainfall expected especially in the afternoon. Highs of 28 degrees, definitely a lot of rainfall starting at 1 p.m. 3.2 millimeters of rainfall in Diani. So if you're going on holiday there, do expect that kind of weather. In Moranga, quite warm as well this morning, 18 degrees as we speak for Moranga. That's quite hot. Rain is currently continuing for about 2 hours this morning. A lot of rainfall expected. They call it light rain. So it's currently raining in Moranga. 1.7 millimeters, which is lower than what we've seen in Diani. Highs of 25 degrees, comfortable weather, but it promises to get warmer over the weekend. 26 the highest tomorrow, 27 on Sunday, and 28 on Monday. So it's getting warmer as the days go by in Moranga. What about Eldoret in the Rift Valley? It's a bit chilly this morning at 13 degrees. It promises to be a cloudy day, but yes, and rainfall expected in the afternoon, starting at 1 p.m. Highs of 23 degrees, which is very comfortable weather. A lot of rain, and I think this is the highest so far. 8.8 millimeters of rainfall expected in Eldoret today. And for the better part, for the rest of the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, even the next week, there'll be rainfall for the entire week next week. What about Isiolo, the most central part of Kenya? It is 22 degrees Celsius as we speak. Feels even warmer, 25. also a cloudy day, a bit of precipitation expected in the afternoon. So zile short rains watu walikuwa nauliza mvua ya Oktoba iko wapi? It looks like finally imefika to most parts of the country, even in Isiolo 1.7 millimeters expected there. So mvua imeanza kuja, highs of 32 degrees, and this will continue throughout the weekend and into next week, where more rainfall is expected. What about the Lake Victoria region? And today we focus on Siaya. 18 degrees currently, also a cloudy day. Rainfall also expected in the afternoon. So rainfall across the country expected starting 1 p.m. and highs of 28 degrees. This will continue into the weekend and into next week, where rainfall in the Lake Victoria region is expected for the entire week next week. Today, 3.2 millimeters, just like we've seen in Diani. Yeah, so mvua October, the short rains definitely are with us. What about Nairobi? It is 16 degrees. That's a bit warmer for Nairobi. It is a cloudy day. Highs of 23 degrees, which is very comfortable. It promises to get much warmer next week. We'll be hitting about 26 degrees Celsius on Monday, and a lot of rainfall expected next week as well. Today, just a bit, because it is a cloudy day, at 2.9 millimeters. So yes, hata Nairobi kutakuwa na unyevunyevu na mvua wakati wa mchana. So that's the weather condition across Kenya today. Different sections, you can see definitely a lot of rainfall expected in different regions. Let's take a look at the traffic situation in Nairobi, tuone kama hiyo ita affect anything. And most roads in Nairobi, the major tributaries into the CBD are looking green this morning. Ni kama mumeamua leo ni Friday, hakuna pressure. Yeah, something building up pale Fedha na Tasia, matatu zikipanda na zikibeba abiria pale Makadara along Jogoo, not bad. Haile Selassie Avenue next to the railway roundabout, it's building up as well. And even Pangani interchange, but nothing out of the ordinary. Actually, it is light traffic for this time of day, which is around 11 minutes past 6. So this is typical Friday traffic. Thika Road is looking green all the way, but there appears to be a bit of an incident here before you get to Kasarani. After you leave Githurai, a bit of a stretch there, yellow and red, meaning that there could be an incident along Thika Highway on that section between Githurai and Kasarani. But after that, it's green all the way into town. Kiambu Road, no trouble at all. The other major tributaries into town, Wayaki Way, Ngong Road, Southern Bypass, Langata Road looking good, as well as Mombasa Road, all the way from the airport to the CBD. It's looking green. That's the traffic situation this morning. Right, let's take a look at the quote of the day.
Do one thing every day that scares you.
Alright, magazeti sasa, tuangazie habari zilizopewa kipaumbele. Kwenye gazeti la Taifa Leo wanazungumzia Ruto kusuka upya serikali. Kuna picha yake pale na Gideon Moi ambaye ni mwenyekiti wa chama cha KANU. Wanasema kufuatia kifo cha Raila Odinga aliyekuwa mhimili mkuu katika serikali yake ama serikali jumuishi, Rais Ruto sasa amejumuisha KANU serikalini. So anasema Rais William Ruto anatarajiwa kufanya mabadiliko katika baraza lake la mawaziri wakati wowote sasa, ili kumpa nafasi mwenyekiti wa chama cha KANU Gideon Moi, ambaye amekuwa mwanachama mpya katika serikali jumuishi. Habari kamili kwenye ukurasa wa pili. So yes, Gideon Moi ni kama atakuwa CS anytime according to this paper. Mambo inageuka haraka sana. Hii syllabus ni kama inaenda mbio. Sasa a lot with the exit of Raila Odinga, a lot of things happening. Last week we saw President Ruto, just before he even made the announcement on the death of Raila Odinga. A week before that, he had this very interesting meeting with KANU leaders and Gideon Moi, who before that had been one of his main critics and a political rival, closing ranks. And now vile kunaenda ni kama tutakuwa tunasema CS Gideon Moi. Hatujui kama atakuwa CS wa mambo gani, lakini tutakuwa nasema Cabinet Secretary Gideon Moi. Anaenda nakaa pale kwa cabinet. All right. Habari zingine kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili, neti ya umbu ilivyomuuza mshukiwa, vyombo vya nyumbani vilivyoibwa viligeuka ushahidi muhimu dhidi ya mshukiwa wa mauaji. Habari kamili kwenye ukurasa wa pili. Tumia picha pale ya mosquito. Kumbe hiyo ndio ilitumika kufunga jamaa kwa mauaji. Idara ya bashiri mvua kubwa. Yes, just as we've seen when we're taking a look at the weather forecast, there's a lot of rainfall, and yes, the meteorological department confirms this. It is part of the news on the front page of Taifa Leo. Wanasema idara ya utabiri yatoa tahadhari kuhusu mvua kubwa itakayonyesha katika kaunti 39. Yes, indeed. A lot of rainfall expected in most parts of the country starting this week, this weekend, and the entire of next week. Kwingineko, matokeo ya kura za urais Cameroon. Utata mkubwa wa kisiasa unanukia Cameroon, mshindi wa urais akitajwa leo. Kumbuka kule ndio tuko na yule jamaa wa miaka 92 anawania urais kule. Ni mzee, hata yeye mwenyewe haji kampeni. Wanatuma zinaitwaje zile effigies. Pale juu, Raila Odinga Jr. atawazwa kuongoza familia ya babake, na namuona pale ameshikilia mkuki. Raila Jr. atawazwa rasmi kuchukua uongozi wa familia ya Raila baada ya sherehe ya kitamaduni iliyofanyika nyumbani kwa familia hiyo eneo la Bondo Alhamisi. Hiyo ni jana. Masuala ya spoti, Reds wakalia ngumu Frankfurt. Liverpool wapiga breki vichapo 4 walivyopokea mfululizo ligi ya UEFA. Liverpool wamekuwa ndio wamezoea kufungwa mabao, lakini jana walilipiza kisasi. Gazeti la Taifa Leo. The Standard talks about Ruto after Raila, and I think it's the same theme, because now hapo wanasema Ruto kusuka upya serikali, but the Standard talks about, yes, Ruto after Raila, a lot of changes, a lot of adjustments expected. Talk about political chess. Raila Odinga's death has ignited a fierce political battle, with President William Ruto moving swiftly to capture the late opposition leader's vast support base ahead of 2027. Now, sources say the president is plotting a grand realignment, from merging UDA and ODM to purging dissenters and installing loyalists across Raila's heartlands in Nyanza, Coast, and the Maa region. But the resistance is already blazing. ODM diehards accuse Ruto of trying to hijack and hollow out the party from within. Mambo inazidi kunoga, and this is the only story on the front page of the Standard. We do have a physical copy. Wameka sura kadhaa pale kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili, kama Oburu Odinga was the interim party leader now. Gladys Wanga was a chairperson. The former deputy party leader was now CS, that's John Badi. We have Oparanya was also a CS. Lakini kuna sura 3 pale za watu kama Babu Owino, Caleb Amisi, Edwin Sifuna. Pale chini wameka ile table ya chess. Wanasema it is a political chess game. Interestingly, yesterday we were discussing how come President Ruto no longer mentions UDA. He's just talking about ODM every day. ODM hapa, ODM pale. On the inside pages, Kampala High Court throws out case on missing Kenyan activists. And yes, a probe continuing on the missing 2 Kenyan activists who are said to have been abducted in Uganda. And their whereabouts are still unknown. A lot of more stories inside the Standard today, talking about Raila, and I think that has been the theme that has persisted for the longest. The fact that everyone is arguing on what will happen following the death of Raila Odinga. So Ruto, they say, is burning the midnight oil to find ways to win Raila's supporters. Also, the president yesterday, while attending a funeral service somewhere in Nyeri, I think, he defended the cybercrimes law and denied that it was signed in secret. So yesterday, he defended his decision to sign into law 8 bills, among them the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Act. Watu wanapiga kelele sana, because he did this on the same day that the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga died. The president said the legislation is meant to shield Kenyans, especially children, teenagers, and the youth from growing dangers of internet-related crimes. That is his explanation. Na anasema hiyo mambo mnasema ati alifanya hiyo kisirisiri. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Anasema it was long overdue, and these amendments were aimed at modernizing Kenya's cyber laws. Privatization law, which is among those he signed as well, also given prominence on page 6. Na kwingine maswala mingi, there's a victim of the stampede at Kasarani Stadium, Nyayo Stadium as well, who has now been identified. Meanwhile, remember KCSE exams continue. Some schools feel conned yet again as they face exams without state funds. That's a story on page 8 of this paper. KCSE exams, preparations for some of the what do you call them? Practical exams in earnest. Kumbuka next week, bado KJSEA na KPSEA exams are coming up as well. On the back page, this is the way to stardom. This is Harambee Stars, Harambee Starlets, not Stars. They're clashing with Gambia in WAFCON qualifier. That match to be played on October 28th, which is in 4 days' time, and that is what is given prominence on the back page of the Standard today. Ruto after Raila. We go to the Daily Nation, and today they're talking about the same theme we've seen on the Taifa Leo, on the Standard, and now on the Daily Nation. Another cabinet reshuffle looms. Power games. Technical teams appointed by President Ruto and KANU chairperson Gideon Moi are now working on the finer details of an agreement for members of the Independence Party to secure state appointments, including cabinet positions. So it's not just Gideon Moi. We could be seeing more members of KANU. Sasa unajua hata watu wa KANU ni wagani wao unajua. Najua kuna mmoja kama Naisula Lesuda. Ule ako KANU. So could we be seeing Naisula Lesuda in cabinet? The death of ODM leader Raila Odinga is also likely to influence the changes. That is what they talk about on the front page. Gideon Moi now set for a cabinet position. President and the KANU leader are set to cement deal after burying the hatchet. It's a big story there and a very interesting turn of events in the last 2-3 weeks or so. Raila's son installed as head of the family also features prominently on the page. Of course, news around the Odinga family continues to be on the front pages following the burial of Raila Odinga on Sunday in Bondo. Now, a lot of the what happens after still hitting the headlines. So they say Raila Jr. undergoes a traditional ritual during his installation as the head of the family, 4 days after the burial of his father, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, at their Opoda farm. This ritual was at the Opoda farm. Raila Odinga was not buried at the Opoda farm. He was buried at the Kajaramogi, which is not at the Opoda farm. That's a family home, Kango Kajaramogi. Interestingly, I saw Governor Sakaja, who is not an ODM member, prominently at this event. Sema optics, lazima ujiposition mahali, karibu na. I tell you, politics is very interesting. Matters Education also featuring on the front page of this paper. Junior school teachers fight for autonomy. Goes to court. Teachers have asked the court to stop implementation of the comprehensive schools policy, which places pre-primary, primary, and junior secondary schools under one head teacher. They argue the rule violates the law. So these are the stories given prominence on the front page of the Daily Nation today. On the back page of the Daily Nation, Chepngetich banned for 3 years. This is the Athletics Integrity Unit. AIU has banned women's marathon world record holder Ruth Chepngetich of Kenya, from Kenya, for 3 years for doping. This is the independent integrity arm of the World Athletics body. Yesterday announced that it had banned Chepngetich for 3 years after the 3-time Chicago Marathon champion admitted to anti-doping rule violations, ADRVs, regarding the presence of use of diuretic that one, HCTZ, that one. You can read more on that very unfortunate story on the back page of the Daily Nation today. Acha tuangalie huko ndani kama kuna stories zingine interesting. How household items exposed killer in Mtwapa. Hii ni ile story tumeona kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa Taifa Leo, wanasema hadi mosquito net nitaleta jamaa kufungwa. Anamwambia hii neti tuliona ile umbu ulifinya iko hapo. The president defending himself on signing the bills also features on page 6 of this paper. And kule Litain Boys candidates back to school. Yeah, those 4 learners at Litain Boys High School have resumed studies following an interim court order on how much they should pay for damages from the strike that caused losses estimated at 100 million shillings. Initially, they'd been told to pay around 50,000 shillings each. The court said that is too much and reduced it to about 10,000 bob. Na sasa ni kama wamerudi na idakaa ni kama watafanya exams kama wale wengine. There's a story on page 10 which is a different angle altogether following the death of Raila Odinga. Anasema a pilot recounts flying moments with the former prime minister. Yes. Ni jamaa pale Twin Star Aviation managing partner says Raila was keen for details when in the air. That's an interesting story. Probably an angle that we never seen anywhere else. And that's the Daily Nation. Probably tutarudi kuangalia karakacha baadaye. Matters business, Kenya in talks with to pay Adani over cancelled electricity deal. Remember that these deals for Adani are some of the things that Raila Odinga interestingly supported after his agreement on the broad-based arrangement with President William Ruto. Now, Kenya is in talks with India's Adani Group over compensation after the verbal cancellation of a multi-billion shilling deal to build electricity transmission lines and substations. Remember, this is not about the airport. This is another deal. The Treasury's Public-Private Partnership, PPP Directorate, has disclosed that talks are underway for an amicable solution. So President William Ruto in November last year had ordered the cancellation of the 30-year, 96 billion shilling public-private partnership deal that an Adani Group firm signed with the Energy Ministry to construct power transmission lines. Yes, so it will cost Kenya. Tutalipa tu. Sisi ndio wale. Tutalipa, kwani pesa ni ya nani? Other headlines on the front page of the Business Daily: new motor vehicle sales rebound to 6-year high as economy steadies. Ni mnasema kuna pesa, watu wako na pesa. Sales of new vehicles have bounced to the strongest level in 6 years on the back of falling lending rates. Elsewhere, banks and firms pocket 30 billion shillings from road annuity scheme. Another one, companies to hire more workers for festive season. Niwaambie 62 days now to Christmas. Sherehe zimeanza kuingia, zinanukia pale. And coffee topples men's clothes as Kenya's top export to the US. Yeah, that matters business on the front page of the Business Daily. People Daily, same story on Ruto and Raila. Now they talk about Ruto, the student who defied his teacher Raila. Na pale kuna picha ya President William Ruto and the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga and the Deputy President. So Ruto sasa anang'ang'ana kuchukua ODM, lakini wanasema he defied. Most people probably have not even understood the kind of history that these two gentlemen have had over the years. At some point, they were in the same political side as they fought for reforms in as far as constitutional referendum is concerned. Back in 2005, they were on the same side, eventually getting to the 2007 elections together, and finally waka break up, lakini sasa wakarudiana kidogo. Gazeti la People Daily. Alafu kuna mass pilgrimage to Bondo as Raila's legacy lives on. People are still visiting the graveside of Raila Odinga in Bondo. The Weekend Star, no smooth ride for Ruto in ODM takeover plot. That's the main story featuring on pages 4 and 5 of this paper. Plus photos of what happened in Bondo yesterday. Dad's footsteps, Raila Jr. steps into father's shoes. So matters Ruto and Raila also getting prominence. So they say, according to this paper, Ruto faces resistance by members keen on protecting Raila's legacy. On the Weekend Star, kuna ile pull out ya siasa anasema inside secret deals driving new wave of parties for 2027 polls. And that's the Weekend Star. Twende kwa karakacha sasa na tunaanza na the cartoon of the Star. And this one refers to the bills that were signed by President William Ruto on October 15th, which was the same day that we got the announcement of the death of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Now he's caricatured here sitting on his seat and signing bills, but pale kuna watu wa kutini pale, wakuna ile gavel ya kutini, na anasema we can revisit now. You remember that word, revisit, when CJ David Maraga nullified the presidential elections in 2017. And a very angry President Uhuru Kenyatta back then said, we shall revisit. Sasa ni kama judiciary wanakuja kumwambia, we can revisit now. The cartoon on the Star. Hey, pale Standard ni kama Hari amerudi leo. Si yule cartoonist wa kawaida. And whenever we have this cartoonist on the Standard, yeye huongea mambo international. So he talks about a peace deal, and it's a question there. And I think this is Trump. Na nafikiri ni ile maswala ya kule Middle East and what's happening there. Is there really peace? And is there a peace deal? Pale kuna cartoon mabomu yanalipuka. There's a cartoonist on the Standard today, anaitwa Hari. On the Daily Nation, we have these people who are referring to themselves as orphans. Sasa, you remember that talk about Baba while you are away? A few years back when Raila Odinga was not in the country. When he came back, kila mtu alikuwa anasema while you are away. Sasa wanasema Baba as you are away. Because he's definitely away and he's left them, orphans, wako hapa in yellow. I don't know why now they're being portrayed in the color yellow. Hawa ni watu wa ODM, wanafaa kuwe machungwa. Sasa color yellow ni ile ya UDA. Na kuna mmoja kuna pembe sana hapa anaitwa Junet. Baba, as you are away. That's a cartoon on the Daily Nation. And finally, People Daily. Kuna kiatu moja hapo kubwa sana inaitwa Computer Misuse Act. Yes, one of the bills signed into law, it's now a law by the president, is on the computers and cybercrimes rules around there. Na kuna kiatu kubwa sana inakanyaga mobile phone. Jichunge sana, because now there are laws that are in place. Alafu anasema, yes, there is a conservatory order issued by the High Court yesterday, but you never know what will happen. Jifunze provisions of that act kabla kupate. You never know how long the order will stand. But hapa anasema kuna freedom of expression or freedom of oppression. Shida iko wapi? All right, so those are the cartoons. And once again, today being a Friday, it is a youth perspective. Jared Oye from the ODM Youth League will be in studio alongside Winfred Asiko, Winfred Asiko was a political analyst. Kipkorir Brian, the chairperson of the UDA National Youth League Congress, as well as Nick Mwangi, the Secretary General of the Kenya Hardy Party. Young Kenyans just talking to us about the way forward after Raila Odinga won. Secondly, kuna issue sana za tribalism pale social media. And Gen Z walisema they are tribeless. Now ndo kwa social media. Surely, what's happening to Kenyans? We'll be looking at that with these young Kenyans in a short while. Remember, we'll be having this other conversation later on. Dr. Mohammed Abdullah Aldar, who is the founder and CEO of Sage Healthcare Concierge Services, talking about medical tourism. And it is a Feel Good Friday, so DJ Kicks will be in studio alongside our weekend Q, Banse Kimoyo. So do stand by for some music later on. Meanwhile, you can interact with us through our social media pages. On X at TV47 Digital. On Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, it's TV47 Kenya. You can also tag me on X at Freddy Ndimuli is my handle. And remember to use the hashtag MorningCafe TV47. See you after the break.
No more excuses. It's time to rise, grind, and own your mornings. Join Coach Shadrach Omer every Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. only on TV47. Full body workouts, zero equipment, maximum results. Start strong, stay strong. TV47 Fitness with Coach Shadrach only on TV47. Look Looking for the perfect way to kick off your weekend?
Pole. Hiyo ni salamu ya Mluya kabisa.
Tune in to Friday with Betty, the most exciting show on TV.
Betty, one tear gun. Betty, I don't know where this guy's going.
Walikutoka.
From the latest news and trends to unforgettable moments.
Mimi si simpa. Hiyo naona nakubali.
Wewe ni simpa.
Friday with Betty is your go-to show for a fabulous Friday night.
Theological, meteorologist. What is that word, Willis?
Tune in this and every Friday at 9 p.m. and let's make your Fridays unforgettable. Only on TV 47. Enjoy uninterrupted live streaming of your favorite programs on TV 47 and Radio 47 on the go with our new mobile-friendly website. Experience the future of broadcasting. Visit www.tv47.digital or scan this QR code and stream your way to endless news and entertainment. Welcome to the home of untold stories.
This is Kenya's #1 talk show, Dr. Farika tonight. My name is the Eagle himself. Dr. Farika is my name.
We are flipping the script, but guess what? Or should I say, guess who is taking over tonight's show?
Ani wewe furahia umekaa na kasukuru.
CP unit ni Punet. So you guys knew about Piga. Sawa basi. Sema, hata ungevi the whole time.
I don't want to go back to brokenness.
Never.
I just love the high life. Siwezi taka kuimagine ati nimesota.
You have to watch to find out. Tune in every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m. Start your day with Relationship Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. with Ann Odida. Dive deep into the dynamics of love, friendship, and family as we explore the stories that shape our connections. Then satisfy your appetite with Tasty Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. where Anne serves up delicious recipes, cooking tips, and the latest food trends to inspire your next meal. Relationship Wednesday and Tasty Wednesday every Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on Morning Cafe.
Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga continues to face backlash over his controversial remarks that appeared to celebrate the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Embu Governor Cecil Mbarire, Tharaka Nithi Muthomi Njoki, and Meru's Isaac Muituma have jointly condemned Kahiga's remarks, describing them as reckless and capable of tarnishing the community's image while sowing discord in the country.
The people who live around Mount Kenya are decent people who stand with the rest of the Kenya during this time of mourning. And especially the fact that the person we are mourning has been a uniting factor in Kenya.
They took the opportunity to highlight various development projects successfully implemented by the government in the region, dismissing claims that the area had been sidelined in terms of development. They also condemned attempts to divide the counties of the Mount Kenya West and East sides.
Sisi hatuwezi sema ati maendeleo ilikuwa inaenda pande moja. Na pia tunajua ya kwamba kazi ya national government ni kuhakikisha development iko kila mahali.
Why is it a problem now when the president announced the other day during Mashujaa that the road from Makutano ya Mwea through Mwea, Embu, Tharaka Nithi, Meru is going to be dual just like that other road?
Moreover, they praised late Raila Odinga, describing him as a hero who dedicated his life to fighting for the nation and ensuring the realization of devolution, a key pillar of development across many parts of the country.
Kwa hivyo tuache siasa mbaya, tuunganishe Kenya na tukumbuke kwamba yule alitetea ugatuzi zaidi ya viongozi wote alikuwa Raila Amolo Odinga. And for that reason, we need to respect him in life and also in death.
We want to advise the people from our region to stop looking at what has been done somewhere else by this government. Because whatever has been done somewhere else by this government is the right of those people. As for your own development agenda.
Cecil Mbarire, who also chairs the ruling party, stated that plans are underway to impose stern disciplinary actions against Governor Kahiga, who is a member of the party.
But we should surely be communicating to him shortly on our position as a party with regard to his statements.
Quinto Wafula, TV 47.
All right, that is unfortunately one of the conversations that we continue having this week, matters to do with tribalism and the kind of reckless remarks that could lead this country on a path of destruction. Today, being a Friday, we have the youth perspective, and we'll be getting to learn from the younger Kenyans what they feel about this kind of conversations at the national level. Allow me to welcome them and introduce them. Winfred Asiko is a political analyst. Karibu sana, Winfred. Next to Winfred, we do have Jared Oye from the ODM Youth League. Karibu sana, Jared. And Nick Mwangi, the Secretary General of the Kenya Ahadi Party. Now, good morning, Karibu sana. Now, fine, this could be the conversation we're having and probably featured on the news, on the headlines in the past few days. But we're seeing something similar on social media, that even after the passing on of Raila Amolo Odinga, there's been a lot of banter, a lot of exchanges along tribal lines. I remember last year at the height of the Gen Z protestations, where the younger people are calling themselves tribeless, leaderless. But now it would appear that even them may have been dragged into tribal exchanges. Winfred, why is this happening now?
First of all, I want to register my heartfelt condolences to Kenyans and the Odinga family at large for losing a hero, someone we really looked up to as a Pan-Africanist and the father of democracy of Kenya. And the reason as to why we're having this tribal spewing of words that are not good is because the leaders that we have are the ones that are propagating it. Because if you're a governor and you're coming out and trying to say things that are not in line with what really Kenya is very wrong, because tribalism is the reason as to why Kenya is not 100% developed, because at the end of the day, it is always Mtu wetu syndrome that has always been ruling this country. And we have never elected a leader based on the ideologies. We have always elected leaders based on who or where they are coming from. And this is the reason as to why every time you're electing leaders that we feel like is our person and is coming from our community. And this is something that is not okay, because if we will continue with this kind of tribalism, or with this kind of words that are being said by the leaders that we're putting in place, then we have a long way to go as Kenyans, because you see, Kenya is just one. The tribes that are in Kenya, they're just one, and there's no difference between me and someone coming from Nyanza, someone coming from the mountain. We're just one. It is these leaders, the tribal leaders, that are the ones that are separating Kenyans. So the tribal spewing of words is because of our leaders. Okay. It begins from our leaders.
Yet, Jared, I'm seeing that on social media, where a lot of the younger generation is, and that's where they communicate a lot. That's where these exchanges are. Are we saying that it's only the older generation talking about tribe, or has this same issue now probably, or have the Gen Zs also contracted that malady of tribalism?
Well, thank you very much, Fred, for hosting us this morning here, and I also register my heartfelt condolences, not only to the Odinga family, but Kenya as a nation and ODM as a party. We walked a long journey since they bowed out. Fred, it's so unfortunate to hear what we heard, I think, the past 2 days from our elected leaders. And I'm going to be very specific, maybe before I touch on our generation, the Gen Z. When on the street we say that we were tribeless, which of course worked out for us. The man, the iconic leader whom we laid to rest on Sunday, stood strongly against tribalism. We remember when he was in Mount Kenya, I think when he attended Nderitu Gachagwa's burial. He narrated how at some point the Agikuyu community were portraying him like maybe he's not a leader who fits to run a country. It's not appealing to the Agikuyu nation. Number two, the leader that we laid to rest, I think, crisscrossed the country without looking which tribe are you coming from. Even his employment in his own private office at Capitol Hill, we all remember that he was having all the tribes in that office, from Agikuyu to Aembu to Aluya to Luos to Mijikenda, all of them on his appointments when he was given opportunity. We remember the common phrase that we are having there, the experts. When our leader was given a chance to nominate experts to the government, we had Mswahili, we had Aluya, we had Luos in it. So he never looked a Kenyan tribe. He never judged a Kenyan on which tribe are you coming from, but on the quality or expertise that maybe a leader was holding. Number two, it was so unfortunate. It is very retrogressive. It is backwardness, very primitive to hear what Governor from Nyeri said. We regret about it. But again, we also regret on the reply that we got from Governor Gladys Wanga and the team. Yeah. At some point, we asked ourselves, we ODM party, we are known as people who are having intellects. It was so unfortunate seeing, I'll say it the way it is, seeing people who at some point we feel have been carrying Jim, to a point that are we going to think with our chest, with our bare chest, or we want to think with our bright head moving forward. So we call both leaders from both ends of the mouth. Again, we all remember that all the concerned leaders of our country stood strong on the foundation that Raila set for us. To call out Governor Wanyeri, Mutai Kaiga, on his sentiment. You can celebrate the death of Raila Amolo Odinga when the whole Africa was mourning. At some point, we feel it was global shock that Raila has left us. Then someone comes in that capacity.
My concern now is that the younger generation appears to have contracted the same malady of tribalism. And the exchanges online are degenerating into tribal exchanges as well. And these are the young people, because we thought probably they were immune to tribalism, but it would appear they are not. That's my concern now going forward.
Fred, I think if there's one fabric and make Kenya looks more beautiful is our 47 tribes. I think 42 tribes or 43 tribes. Our identity and our pride is in our in our tribal identities. But again, on politics and leadership, we have been taught, we have seen that we have quality young people who can deliver off from the tribe, from their tribal affiliation, tribal line. But now your concern, if I come to it, the young people, today I'll tell you, before I become a Kenyan, I'm a Luo. And there's no problem in being a Luo. Before Asiko becomes a Kenyan, she's a lawyer. Before Mwangi becomes a Kenyan, he's a Kiguyu. We sit here as Kenyans. There's no problem us having that. But now we have the progressive tribal conversation, and then we have the retrogressive, I'll put it that way, backwardness that we may have at some point, which is so unfortunate. But again, we can't run away from the tribal affiliation. That is just my identity. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes, I think when you were on the street, we were saying that you are tribeless. I still believe on the leadership, on employment, on innovativeness, on us holding the country moving forward, we need to look it beyond tribal affiliation I'm coming from, or my second name.
Okay. Nick, we thought that this generation, at least, would not suffer the same problem that has afflicted Kenyan politics for the longest time, that issue of tribe. But there's a real risk, and just looking at some of the conversations online, there's a real risk that even the Gen Zs could be drawn into tribal debates.
A very good morning, Fred. First of all, let me join my fellow panelists to condole my message of condolences to the family of Mama Ida Odinga and the entire nation at large. The death of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga was a dark cloud, not just to one particular community, but to the entire nation. And believe it or not, even us, people from Mount Kenya, have been really sad about this situation, because I will take you down the memory line. When Mwai Kibaki was involved in a car accident, it took one man to travel all the way to Nyeri, campaigning for the late Mwai Kibaki, the president. And he said, Kibaki Tosha. And our people embraced him as Tinga, because we knew him as a man of honor, as a man of resilient, as a man who was trusted enough by Kibaki to deliver the job. And you see it going forward to the elements of handshake, where the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, also called the brother and said, look, this country is bigger than the both of us. Can we come and bring Kenya together? And I kid you not, Fred, we, the people of the mountain, I will tell you the truth, want to dissociate ourselves from one governor called Mutahi Kahiga, because those were his own personal remarks. And as a matter of fact, I tweeted almost immediately, and I said that us, the people of the mountain, have always known who are the mad people in the market. And we are very careful to associate ourselves with mad people. And you know, Fred, I will tell you, when you see a madman shouting in the market, you don't quickly and don't move. You first avoid that mad person to try and dissociate yourself from that person, so that it does not bring a lot of chaos in it. But it is very sad as well. We see that there are few dishonorable leaders also from Homa Bay County who we thought are well, at the state of a chairperson of a party. There are remarks during this moment that you don't say or you don't do, because right now, everyone is aggrieved. Whether you're a Luo, whether you're a Kikuyu, whether you're a Kalenjin, whether you're a Luo, there's that pain you feel that Raila was not just Baba for one community, he was a Baba for the entire country. So whether we like it or not, when your father is gone, it is time for all of us to come together and embrace how we are supposed to move forward as a nation. And I tell you, Fred, so many young people came out and called the element of Mutahi Kahiga and Governor Wanga. We are not caught in the tribal lines. We understand what's happening. This country is woke enough, Fred, to go back to the tribal days. We saw what happened in 2007.
You're seeing
Fred.
the conversations online right now.
Yes.
And on X, it's purely tribal exchanges. And these are young people.
And you see, Fred, you know these are people who have been in the game for the longest time. They know what kind of emotions to evoke, Fred. And you know,
are you saying that the political class is succeeding in ensuring that the younger generation also get to the tribal debate?
I'm telling you, Fred, that during morning time, when you're down, there are a lot of emotions, Fred. Right? If today I come to where you are aggrieved and start hurling insults, what is the reaction that will happen? People will forget about logic. They'll start to react, Fred. That's what young people are doing. And you know, in the middle of that conversation, they are criticizing what Kahiga is saying. They're criticizing what Wanga is saying. And we know that the planned, orchestrated plan that some people are having, we can already see the game beyond that. And I want to assure the chairperson of ODM, ODM is a big party. You don't have to evoke emotions between one particular tribe to another particular tribe for it to stand.
Okay.
Fred.
Allow me to welcome Kipkorir Brian to the conversation. Good morning, Brian. Brian is a chairperson, UDA National Youth Congress. Karibu sana, good morning.
Asante.
It is unfortunate that we have to talk about this issue today, but it is something that's prevailing. On social media, you may have come across a few tribal exchanges. And these are basically young people. Yet we thought that the younger generation, the Gen Zs, were tribeless, and they did not look at Kenya's politics or even development from those lenses. But we are seeing that whatever the political class wants to play out in as far as tribal contestations is what even the younger generation are picking up slowly on. Do you see a real risk that the Gen Zs and the younger voters may be drawn to, unfortunately so, to tribal debates?
Thank you so much, Fred. First of all, let me convey my condolences to the family of the late Raila Amolo Odinga. And first of all, let me start by saying this. When the Gen Zs were demonstrating last year, 2024, on matters to do with the finance bill, one of the issues that came out was they are leaderless. And if you're a leaderless, then it means whoever comes as your leader or whatever that exists can give you direction on exactly what to enshrine yourself with. And that's now the tribalism. If Gen Z could have their leaders who are very liberal in terms of understanding the scope and the thematic areas of issues that they may concern the young people, I think that was the healing moment for this country. But if you are formless, leaderless, partyless, and then the leaders who are already in the government positions are the ones promoting this tribalism, then it means it's very easier to fall into that trap where people are leading you based on the tribal lines. And that is something that we need to ask ourselves, the young people. What kind of the leaders that we want from our generation that we need to have so that they can steer us forward and give us direction which goes beyond the tribal line and regional arrogance. So that's something that it must be worked by the young people. And that can only be achieved if we can have the right ideologies. Right. And the ideologies that promote inclusivity, unity, social justice, and respect for the Constitution. So when the young people are being drawn into tribalism, remember, you come from a certain region because you didn't choose to be there. That's why maybe your mother or your father were born, or maybe they choose to stay there because of the situation that favors them. But again, once you go to school, what are you learning? Because one of the things that I feel is something that puts Kenya a little bit behind is the way that we apprehend and make students and the pupils, when they're still at the forming age, to understand the issues that are coming beyond them when they come over the right age. And this is where now our studies should be looked into. When a kid is being developed from the young age, what exactly are we telling that kid? From the nursery, junior secondary, are we telling the kid that, are you a Kenyan? Or are you a Nandi? Are you a Kalenjin? Are you a Kikuyu? These are things that it should be embraced still for the young age. But if that the leaders, the teachers, the vice chancellors are still in tribal lines, the best case study is by our institutions. All regional universities, you can see their vice chancellors. Who are they? They come from the same community. So this is something that already it is inherent. So to overcome that, we need to look into competence, the clarity of the mind. How do a person wish to lead the country? And these are the things that's going to liberate us from these tribal cocoons things and propaganda.
Yet the young people are not the ones in control right now. These leaders already are in place. Those who select vice chancellors of universities, they are already in place. The political leadership is already in place. The younger Kenyans are not in control. Are we saying that simply because they're not in control of any of this, they will simply fall into the conversations that the leadership decide, whether tribal or otherwise?
Thank you so much, Fred. What I would just want to tell you is the millennials and the Gen Zs, they are the majority of people right now in Kenya. Actually, they are 70%. And unfortunately, they are falling into the divide and rule game of politicians that the politicians are using to divide them. Because the last year when we had the Gen Z protests, they were saying they were leaderless and they were tribeless. But right now, I can see people spewing venom against each other. I can see young people are abusing each other from the mountain, from the lake. There's a lot of discord that has been planted by these leaders, by these tribal leaders. And I can say, honestly, right now, I feel like the young people are no longer in control. Because when we had the control, or when we had the power to control what is happening in the country, we said we were leaderless. So there was nobody to speak for us, what we wanted. And that is why you see that away from the finance bill, a little was done on what the Gen Zs were demanding, because they were demanding accountability. And this is something that is not there. We are not seeing. They are demanding accountability and transparency, which is not yet done by the political class, because I am seeing, we are still seeing this mismanagement of public funds. And I feel like the young people are no longer in control. And soon, or even right now, they are already going back to their tribal cocoons. Again, you see there's the use of social media. And you see this political class, they know if we are going to use the social media, okay, when we say something, the social media is there. And this information will reach all the young people. So these people, the political class, they're actually using this social media to our disadvantage, the young people. And I feel like the young people have already fallen into the trap. And that is why we are seeing a lot of disagreements online. And I just want to add to the past conversation where we are asking why there's a lot of tribal exchanges between the young people. I also feel like it's the system. The system has made us to believe that if you are not from a certain tribe, you will not get something. Mm-hmm. And these systems are the ones that have really made us believe in that. And then there's history. You see, when you look at history, and you see, they always say if you want to know where you're coming from or where you're going, you look at your history. And when I'm looking at the history of this country, I am looking at people. I am looking at a people who are divided along their tribal lines. And I feel like these young people are just learning from their from their history. And if we cannot change history by ourselves, there's nothing we can do about it.
What are the opportunities to actually change the conversation for the young people, Jared? Because the concern is, fine, we may all easily just fall into what we've learned and what we are used to. Yeah. Yet there was a lot of hope last year that things are going to be different this time around. With the Gen Zs and the millennials, as she said, are the biggest voting bloc right now. But if we all fall into a tribal voting lines, then what change is there?
Fred, I'm going to disagree with Winfred that young people are falling into the trap. I think I'm among the lot of the students, the last lot of students for Raila Amolo Odinga. And in the spirit of Raila Amolo Odinga, he was teaching us and showing us by example that it can be done. We can build the bridges and have the gaps closed off from the tribal affiliations. That is one. Number two, young people have been condemning these leaders from both ends. I'm pretty sure I'm from ODM party. Again, I'm from the lake. But when our chairperson, Gladys Wanga, did it wrong, we call out. Mutai Kega did it wrong, we call him out. So people are calling these leaders out not on the tribal affiliation, but on merit and on principle. I'm pretty sure that not only those who are condemning Governor Mutai Kahiga are from the lake. Even the youths, as my brother Mwangi puts it here, from the mountain are calling him out. Same happens to Governor Gladys Wanga. It was unfortunate It was so shaming for us. So the calling out on the tribal utterances from our leaders is being done from both ends of the country, all over the country. From besides maybe the age that we talk about now, or the millennials and the Gen Z, people are calling these people out in spite of my tribal affiliation. Number two, as I answer your question now on the East and what to be done, there's still a lot of hope. We believe that tribal politics will be a thing of the past. And I think I'll borrow a leaf from Dr. William Samoei Ruto when he was campaigning in 2022 election. We were campaigning on ideologies. He was having the Hustler Nation, the bottom-up economy. From we, the ODM, the Azimio, then we were seeing the liberators, the progressive reformists. That is Martha Karua and Raila Amolo Odinga this other side. It was not a Gikuyu, a Luo. It was not a Kalenjin, a Kamba. It was on what are we going to present to the people of Kenya. I still believe that the young people of this country, where we are sitting on this table, all of us, if you're very keen, we are speaking the same thing, same language. And the thing that needs to be done is very clear. We need to have a political close-up. In a number of cases, our political parties, for example, I'm from ODM party. People do think that this is a party maybe from this side of region, which is not true. We have another party, UDA. UDA is not from a certain region. These are national outlook parties. If you come to a election, as my brother Kipkori was putting it, Brian, it is so unfortunate that if you go to Jaramogi Oginga Just, you'll find maybe the VC there is a Luo. What about the UN in a metropolitan setup? Will we say that now it will be which tribe? So we need to look it beyond politics. We need to look it even in our businesses. So on my end, on my analysis, there's hope, and this is going to be a thing of the past of our generation.
What could
Fred,
we...
let me just...
Yes, Wilfred.
Let me just correct him before you proceed to the next person. You see, he's saying that the young people are not falling for this, but we can see online people imitating Raila Jr. And they are young people. They are not old people, actually. They are young girls, and they're imitating Raila Jr., someone who's sick, someone who cannot even control something that they are ailing from. So are we not falling for the trap of tribalism? Yes, we need to stop that as young people. I'm not saying that we should propagate it. We should stop, because you're already falling for it. And it is us, the leaders that are seated on this table, to call out that and encourage our young people not to fall for that tribalism. Right, but they're already falling for it.
And thank you for bringing that up, because now one of the solutions is probably enacting laws to ensure that some of the conversations online are a bit moderate.
Yes.
And we saw the president sign the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Act last week. But there's a lot of hue and cry saying that, oh, this is going to suppress the right to express yourself, the freedom of expression. Do you agree with those kind of sentiments, or do you feel even the kind of conversations we have online need to be tempered at some point?
Just before we get to the computer misuse law, Fred, I think Winfred probably has not seen the point that Jared is trying to portray. The freedom fighters of this country did not take one day to fight for democracy of this country. It took us time, Fred. Raila Odinga, the late, he fought for democracy. He suffered in prison for more than 9 years. He could not even bury his own mother, Fred. It took him time to campaign and champion for this constitution that we're enjoying today, 15 years down the line, Fred. It did not take one day, Fred. And the fight that we are talking about, the monster we are talking about, tribalism, we young people are not going to finish it by one day, Fred. It's going to take us time. It's going to take us sweat and blood.
Mm-hmm. Who will lead us in the liberation?
And
we are the people.
Yes.
And Fred, nobody led us to come out in 2024 when we were fighting for, when we were opposing the constraints finance bill. It is the emotions of people feeling frustrated. And to some extent, I want to agree with also Winfred, because she's saying we have the numbers, and she's forgetting the power of democracy, that we don't have to be led to fight for your own right. You don't have to be led to fight for your own freedom. You don't have to be led Fred. And you know these laws that we are talking about computer misuse, Fred, it's very unfortunate because I could hear that when the president was giving this final speech on Sunday, he said that he had received news around 7, 8, but later on at 9 he was signing almost 8 bills. You know, it is very sad, Fred. This is a man who fought for freedom of right of this country, freedom of expression, Fred.
But Nick, these bills are a result of a very long legislative process. Yeah. Why are we criticizing the president who only comes at the tail end?
The question is, what is the hurry to pass those bills?
The president is tied by law to assent to bills in a certain time space.
I agree. Once he has 14 days. He had 14 days.
Once Parliament,
according to law, he has 14 days to assent those bills. And you know, he himself said we were going to take 7 days to mourn.
Don't you think that, and I'm not even looking at issues around when he signed or not. Yes. My issue is, do you feel or do you agree that yes, our discussions online need some sense of moderation, yes, and therefore the necessity for some of these laws?
I agree, but not in a malice political way, Fred. We are in a sensitive time of politics of this country, where politics is evolving and trying to slowly pushing the retrogressive politics away from the norm, Fred. There are issues that are very sensitive to just assent a bill, Fred. There are issues that need public participation. Jared needs to give his view. How do you feel about such element? And there are issues where we agree that, okay, these are elements like insults, like bullying, need to go. But there are also laws that are already in place, Fred.
Okay. What do you feel, Brian, about this? Because there's a necessity for the laws. And we're not debating because it's a matter before the courts. The courts have issued a conservatory order on the same. But there definitely must be a way to contain some of the excesses of social media, because social media comes with its own challenges as well. Don't you agree that, yes, there is necessity for such laws, despite the kind of debate we are having on whether or not it was signed the right way?
Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Amendment Bill 2024. It came to place as an amendment, actually, and it was propagated, or it gives a gap whereby the challenges that come with the digital evolving world. And these are challenges that we have seen. Actually, it has becoming at the higher rate whereby we see the kind of a volatile exchange online, the misuse of the social media to promote even terrorism and extremism and other cultism practices, and also leaving other victims offended by character assassination. So these are the kind of things that put necessity to have regulation that will ensure that our digital space is very safe, and it can be used to harness job opportunities, to create employment, and everyone becomes safe. So these are the issues that it informed, the need and for regulation for this country to have. And remember, we must be very clear on that, because some of the issues and the problems that were identified for the past year and this year are the very reason that's why we had that bill tabled in the parliament and the president had to assent. And the bill actually is very clear on the issues that are there and the solution that is putting on place. So when I see any young person trying and divert and politicize this matter of the bill, I think they're just manufacturing an outrage so that the young people who are easily swayed by that kind of an emotion to get the street to feel or feel their political mileage. So I think it's very important as a young people, because I do believe at this generation, we do have all the necessity of the tools to even break the complexity of that law, the amendment itself, and understand what exactly does it intend to do. Because the purpose of any bill introduced in the House or the floor of the House, we look at the intention. What was the intention? To regulate, to ensure that we protect others, to give even the court the power to delete or to remove or to switch that account that maybe has offended somebody, or maybe it has shared some of the, what we call in journalistic language, that obscenity kind of the vulgar things that are there. So, and also to protect the assets like cryptocurrency. So these things, and those who hack other people's accounts, finding themselves that your Facebook has been hacked. You wonder, you had 20,000 followers, you monetize your page. And then these are the kind of the issues that inform for this necessity. And that's why the president seek it very clearly that whatever the reason, I know that moment Raila passed, but that's not the enough reasons because we work on logic. And the country of Kenya, it is a work in progress.
Yes. And just for the sake of those viewing us, we've since moved on from the issue of Governor Kahiga, and the conversation now is about the Cybercrimes Act, which is now into law, and the amendments that has generated a lot of heat. But yes, the two conversations are connected in a way. Do you agree that there is a necessity to ensure that the level of conversations, the kind of conversations we have and interactions online are tempered probably by legislation?
First of all, I want to say that this bill is not 100% bad. Maybe we will just need to amend a few sections of it in Parliament so that it can fit everyone accordingly. You see, technology is good. It has helped us in education. It has helped us in agriculture. It has helped us even in the health sector. But you see, technology also comes with its vices, the bad vices. And I am looking at bullying at the forefront. I am looking at sexualism. I am looking at doping. You see someone just getting information, your information, and they're sharing it even online, private information. Honestly, these are things that really need to be regulated. Because as a woman, let me address the reason as to why this bill is very important. Women in politics are the one, or even young women, are the ones who are the most bullied in politics, especially using social media. You'll find that someone has created something with AI, and they've put your face there, and they'll start saying that that's you. So yes, technology is good. It is helping us to do the necessary things, but people of my generation are sometimes misusing the social media, especially TikTok. Actually, it is the best, and fortunately or unfortunately, TikTok is the most used social media platform by Kenyans in the whole world. Actually, Kenyans are the biggest number using TikTok right now. And unfortunately, they're misusing it. And okay, there are those that are using it in a good way to make money, to make sales, to sell whatever they are doing, to do their businesses. That is good. But we have those ones now that they're using it to bully others, especially where I had said earlier how some were imitating Raila Jr. And actually it was a whole lot of live imitating Raila Jr. And that was very bad. It is one of the saddest things that I saw on social media. And I want to call out those young people. It was very wrong. And let them not repeat that again, because you see, you cannot, when you are sick, you cannot control, and you cannot control something. It is just disheartening you, another person who is a human being, trying to make fun of it. So I feel this bill, it may have a few sections that need to be amended, yes, but it is something that is good that will help us regulate the type of conversations that we have on social media. Social media helped us during the 2024 protests, and I always tell young people, use social media even in your campaigns, because we have those, the young people, they don't have money to do their campaigns. So I always tell them, just go wherever you're going, take a video, share, and people will know whatever you're doing. And it is a good campaign tool. It is a good way of mobilization. It is also a good way of sending, of sensitizing information to other young people. And unfortunately, what I'm not happy is, why are we not using the same social media to help us bring young people and tell them, my friends, go and register as a voter so that in 2027 we can send these people home, or those leaders that we do not need. So yes, social media is good, but there are other parts of social media that are bad that need to be regulated.
All right.
Yes.
Jared, the biggest argument has been that probably it violates the right of expression. Yeah. But then again, even the right of expression, freedom of expression needs to be tempered to a huge extent. Do you agree that probably, even as we enjoy some of these rights, we are abusing them to a great extent, especially in how we use social media?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Fred. First, we are tired. We know the power of social media and what it can do. And I think we have seen and demonstrated as a nation and as a generation that there's a lot that can be done within our social media space. it needs to be secure, it needs to be safe to everybody. And it's so unfortunate that we want to immunize everything and pull emotions from my sister here. Even men do get trolled online properly. We have seen at some point, if you can remember, we have seen men sometimes, they share your very private photos. It's not about women here, it's about our security as safe space for all of us. So we can't be humanizing everything. That's no, it's very wrong. That is one. Number two is not only youths who are misusing the social media. First, as he puts it, the right honorable, let me use the right honorable Raila Amolo Odinga Jr., when he was being trolled on Sunday night, I think, if I'm not wrong, it was not only the young people. We saw old women doing that with their children behind them.
Yes.
It was so unfortunate. It's not about young people, it's not about ladies and men. It's about a nation to get it right. We need our social media pages to be secured. We need it to be a safe space. I think last time when we were here, there's one thing I said, that we know how Donald Trump used social media to campaign for the America. Today in Africa, all the campaigns are being done. 90% of campaigns, let me say 70% to 80% are being done on social media. In the country 2022, we know how it was a very critical tool for our election, our manifesto launch, our campaigns. As moving to 2027, we need this space secure and safe. That is one. Number two, laws are made to guide. They're not made to rule. We need these things to guide us. And as you put it, where my freedom starts is where maybe another person's freedom ends. If my expression hurts another person, it will come with cartels. It will be curtailed. If my expression, as we put it, the freedom of expression, that's one of the eminent pillars that the Right Honorable, the CGH, Raila Amolo Odinga, fought for, is that freedom of expression. And I strongly believe that we're not going to hurt, we're not going to derail it, we're not going to scrap it off, but it must be guided. And lastly, as we put it, there's nothing wrong as having this bill in place. I think maybe some of us have never been victims of the same. Some of us here have lost accounts. Some of us here have been trolled online. Some of us here have been bullied. And it's not on where I'm coming from, it's not on my age, it's not on maybe I'm a man or I'm a young man. No, we need our social media space secured. It is the next big thing, and it's the big thing.
Yes. Do you feel like some of the criticism probably on the process or how the president assented to these laws, and of course this has been the much talked about on the Cybercrimes and Computer Misuse Act, that it's a bit misguided, because it's coming, the ascension to law comes at the tail end of a very long process in both houses of parliament where public participation should also take place. And if at all it has been assented to, it means that parliament feels confident that they've carried and done all the processes as should be required. Why is there criticism towards the president signing something into law?
Our current president is showing the same pattern of inconsiderate, impatient, and inhumane. These are the same patterns that he had when he was signing the finance bill, when Kenyans were saying, this is not an outright bill.
He actually rejected that bill. He never signed it into
After we went to the street, Fred, it took us a whole price to pay. The Kenyans are just saying, Fred, simply, Mr. President, please listen to us first. There's no hurry in signing these bills, because these bills, today, most people when they're in power, they forget that they will come out of power, Fred. And a number of bills that people sign in power come and hound them later. We saw when the Senator for Sierra said that revolution eats its own people. Because when you come and sign bills that you think it will now constrain a certain narrative of a certain political class, thinking that your time will not come to an end, it will come and bite you as well. But beside all that, this is a cry for Kenyans, Fred, that why we need to take a lot of time to assent these bills. Each and every views of Kenyans should be listened. because we understand the importance of this act. Because since it was there in place, right, and since there were just few clauses that they were amending so that it fits particular social media platforms that are being misused, that are being taken out of context, it was not entirely necessary to rush the process, Fred. I believe that the president has enough time. If he took a whole 7 days to mourn his old friend, I'm telling you, Fred, he could just be patient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, Jerry.
Yes, I'm disagreeing with you, my brother, because as Fred is putting it, why do we wait at the point when the president is now signing the bill? This is a whole process. That is one. Number two, I remember Mama Ida telling us that he married an engineer, and the engineer was engineering Kenya. This is a work in progress. We have this bill which was in the house. We have this bill, I'm pretty sure that was maybe online. So I think what we need to do, we need to have a proper online sensation. Sure. Let people read these things before ifike kwa table ya president. That's what is important.
Do you think that probably even the younger Kenyans are not really bothered about legislative processes and they just go with the hype?
Jared is forgetting the laws of power.
Just emotions.
Mm-hmm. This bill, where did it come from? It came from the executive. Mm-hmm. And we have a parliament that is being pushed or is being backhanded by the executive. So we know, and how come at that point of time, Jared, we are so elite enough to follow the Finance Bill 2024? It is a matter of distraction that the president made sure that Kenyans are not focusing on the right element of the bill. Kenyans are still mourning. Kenyans were mourning the loss of their father. So he took advantage. You are in shock, yes. So Fred, I want you to imagine that you've received sad news of your dad was passed. Do you have time to go and start looking that, look, we have this bill that is passing?
But the legislation process is a very long one.
You see, it's just as simple, right, Fred?
But my argument is, by the time it becomes a bill and goes to the National Assembly, it will take months from the first reading to the committee stage, to the debate, to the public participation. Why are Kenyans now coming to interact with the amendments or the proposed amendments at the tail end?
Let me counter your argument, Fred. We took time as young people to follow the finance bill from stage 1 to the last stage. Did the president listen?
Why not these other bills?
Yes, he did. He rejected
Why did he follow the Cybercrime bills?
It took the intervention, and I'm sorry to say, it took the intervention of the late Raila Amolo Odinga for him to listen.
Okay.
Fred, I want to disassociate myself from the factor that my friend has said. That bill was brought by executive. The amendment for 2024 in terms of cybercrime and laws, it was brought by Aden Mohammed, the Wajir East Member of Parliament. So when you say this bill was...
Which party does he belong to?
That is not the issue. But he's a Member of Parliament, a legislator in the National Assembly. And that is the context. And I will say this. In the one of the Chinua Achebe rights, he says that if the sand could be cast on hair, then the grains will not find its way back to heart. And I want to say this. You see these bills that are coming on place, they come with a purpose. And it comes with the issues and the sensitive matters that we are facing as a country. And remember, any moment the bill is introduced in the House, there are stages actually. There's first reading, second reading, they go to committee, then third reading, and then again, before even to reach the president for presidential assent. And that is something that we all have to understand, because any moment the bill is there, the member of parliament have that sobriety to think, to question, to see the drawbacks, and to ensure that whatever the kind of the bill comes out of that house, it's of good for the public, because they are there as our representative. So you cannot tell me you have leaders in the National Assembly that you cannot even behoove yourself to have a trust for them. And while they are running the legislative purpose of this country, they are the one doing the resources sharing. So sometimes these issues that are very critical at this time of digital era, it's very important to have such regulation so as to ensure we exist in a safe space. Because remember, we are moving on from the traditional way of communication. The online space currently is the way to communicate. It's emotive.
Who should be blamed?
It's a psychological thing.
Who should be blamed for the lack of involvement of the younger Kenyans in the legislative process? We know there's provision for public participation. Are you confident enough that the young Kenyans were eager to take part in contributing to the process?
Remember, anytime there's a bill, through the clerk of the National Assembly, they always publish the public participation. Even through online, that online that they see, actually they use their time to bully people. Perhaps they should be using that time to put those public views to ensure that the kind of the bill that comes out from that house to be of a sophisticated way. That's the reality. Anytime, even the Public Service Commission, when they post these job vacancies for commission, they should ask them, these are the shortlisted candidates. If you have your views, kindly tell us about these shortlisted candidates. But nobody ever do that because they don't want to participate in the national building, but they want to participate in destroying this country. And that's what the late Raila said. We have to build this country, and the country is the first thing to be done.
Yes.
So
are younger Kenyans just obsessed with criticizing government and the processes therein, and not really getting involved in the correct way to actually ensure a proper way of doing things? Are they just being disruptive?
First of all, let me disagree with my Brian. He has said that young people are just focused on destroying this country. You see, us seated on this table are not part of that cocoon. Yeah. We are young people with a brave mindset and a mindset to change this country. And I'm pretty sure that most of the young people seated on this table are going to parliament in 2027, and they will build this nation.
Just a young person.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me vindict myself.
No.
When the street of Nairobi was vandalized, I didn't see an old man, an old woman. I just saw the young people vandalizing those shops.
I think we should
and that is something that it's very uncertain, unforgiving for the young person to destroy someone's property.
Thank you, Brian. You were saying something, Winfred.
Okay, I was saying the reason as to why, I feel like young people, we are ignorant of information. And our main focus, we always focus on emotions. You see, like what Mutai said the other day, is what really sparked the emotions of young people. But when we are looking at important things, like voter registration, like reading these bills before they are signed into laws. You see, these are things that young people are not doing. And I just want to tell young people, you see, a youth, according to the Kenyan Constitution, Chapter 17 of the Constitution, it says that a young person is someone that is above 18 and is below 35. So, and I always say, these are the largest number of people in this country. And we have smartphones. Fortunately, the information that we are looking for, or the information that is even being signed into laws, is online. Mm-hmm. And even if you ask a young person today, you see the Auditor General always puts even how the money has been used in every financial year. It is always online. If you check all the financial years, it is just online. If you ask a young person how much money was used in this government parastatal, they are not able to tell you. So I feel like young people, we have become so ignorant of information. And even if we have the information, we are not using it to our advantage. And we are just focused on emotional emotions that are being sparked by politicians. And that's why I said most of the time us young people are always falling for the trap of divide and rule. And if we are not going to start learning, to start reading this information, to have the information of our fingertips. You see, lack of information or ignorance is a disease that you cannot even cure yourself. And it can land you in more problems or in more trouble than even if you had the information.
All right.
Yes.
Ijare, do you agree that, yes, the younger people have more information than ever before, but probably they do not know what to do with that information?
Brian, young people are not ignorant. I think we are in our generation, this is the most informed, educated generation ever in our country. We can use terms ignorant to a young person in Kenya. These are very informed people. That is one. But now the information, as our brothers put it here, Brian have put it, that they are always outside there online. But the information there is very bulk. And that's now where we come. Young people do get it difficult. Actually, I was with a friend who was reading some articles. No, I can't read this. Can someone condense it for me? So to the youth...
Is that not laziness?
No, that's not laziness. Let me say my point, Mama. To the youth, to the youth ministry, they need to be a bit innovative. We are dealing with a generation that want things to move so fast. And if you can have a condensed information, easy to digest and understand, it will make it very easy.
Are you saying that we need to chew? We need to chew some of this hard stuff for the younger Kenyans so that they can simply swallow? Is that what you're saying?
How to chew it, how to make it easy, is to offer more civic education to our young people. I think for the first time in history, a number of them started having interest in governance and politics after the June 25th, the Gen Z protest. Before, they were keeping off from the leadership and the political conversation in the country. So we need to have more civic education. And I'm agreeing with my brother Brian again that we have the four arms of government, and I'll say the fourth one. So we have the legislature that need to do their part independently. As Mwangi was putting it, at some point we may feel victimized that maybe these MPs are aligned to this certain political party. So the backing of the executive may be in aim, which is unfortunate. We need the legislature to be more independent without the backing or influence from the executive. But again, we have also seen judiciary, I think, bad or altered the implementation of the bill that we're talking about here. So all the three arms of government need to operate and work independently. That is number two. I think the fourth arm of government is no longer with us, the Raila Amolo Odinga. Number three. my point number three. There's one thing that you touched about on criticism. We in our generation, we need to be very objective on how we are going to criticize the government of the day. We don't need to be emotional and momentaneous, that this the thing that's on the table that we criticize it. Can we be objective and as well offer alternative on how we think we need things to be done? We don't need just to offer criticism without offering an alternative, as she was putting it. So that may appear that we are ignorant, but we are not ignorant. We just need to have objective criticism. And then lastly, I think as moving forward, Brian here is the chair for UDA Young Congress. We will have to sit down, we as young people, and see how we can condense the information from the government website and other avenues. At some point again, there are those who may lack the access. Not all young people are having the online access. In as much that we want to say that they're having that.
Is them copper?
65%.
Yeah.
Is them copper phones, my
No,
friend?
leave alone them copper phone. You may have them copper phone, it's not paid. You may have them copper phone, you're not able to buy data.
Internet access.
We also have areas that are having low data access. Not all areas you are in Nairobi, adventure that you are in Nairobi. We say you are a privileged youth. Another youth in Turkana, in Moyale may not be in the same position.
The majority.
You get. Lastly, on the young people and objectivity, I think we, the young leaders here, we don't need to lament as the rest of us. There are those who are looking up for us. Brian, Mwangi, and my sister here, Winfred. We are going to move forward, offer that civic education that Fred.
There were opportunities.
Winfred,
allow me. There were opportunities, and we saw even the use of social media to educate other Kenyans on even the provisions of the finance bill last year. These are things that can be done for free. How come, was it Jared suggesting that even the Gen Zs, as far as civic education is concerned, the same social media can be used? How come you're not taking those opportunities?
You know, Fred, like I said earlier or before, one thing about processes, they do take time. And it is not a one-day eventuality. And even in matters of planning and strategy, you must also plan about risk. And some of the risk that you can see here today is, as they're saying, it's bullying, inconstructive suggestions or comments, it is malignment, and you know, Fred, all this is cut in one cloth called politics, because at the end of the day, we are looking at it, how does it fit the political narrative for tomorrow? Because one thing I can clearly foresee is the young people, as Jared was saying, will change the conversation of the politics of the day through the social media. And we have seen it in urban, in first world countries rather, like US, Germany, Britain, and they have been a place to shape government. Now, what we are looking at is how do we now move forward to solidify the judiciary? I recently, yesterday I was watching CNN News, and I saw former president for France, President Nicolas Sarkozy. He was being taken to prison to serve a 5-year term of corruption. That is where we need to be as a country, that in as much as there is misuse of cyber crime rule, which is largely targeted to the young people, how about we also strengthen elements of corruption, how leaders also can become accountable? Because all this we are talking about is about accountability. That how do we make this country have the accountability face, Fred?
Brian, one of the biggest problems last year, according to the younger Kenyans, was parliamentary processes. What we are talking about here, even the legislative process, that many Kenyans, especially the younger generation, felt that members of parliament do not represent them, do not listen to them. They simply pass laws that do not work for them. Do you think that that could be part of the problem, that Kenyans are not really interested in taking part, despite the fact that there are provisions for taking part in the legislative process through public participation? Do you think that younger Kenyans are feeling, that's not my process?
I want to say this again. When you look into keenly on the last financial bill, which was dropped by our president, that bill was one of the best bill ever. That in the coming 3 years, if it was implemented, at the moment we could have a balanced budget. And that was the good for development of this country. Vis-a-vis the fact that people tried to say drop finance bill, the demonstration was there, Ruto must go, and other things that came with that. But I think the most important thing that the young people feel and they made to have this an outrage was because the members of parliament didn't take part in their places where they were elected to sensitize these young people on the importance of this bill. And I think that is very, a provision law, public participation is very instrumental to ensure that whatever that come in place, the public understand what it contains. So I think that is a very important process, and it should never be avoided. But also as the young people and anyone, anytime we see the bill, if the National Assembly, the Senate, invite the public for their views, we must participate, either digitally, physically, and all those town halls, residential that they have put in place to ensure that we participate and be parcel of this legislative process. So I think it's our time, as the young people, we take keen interest to these institutions that are the guiding to ensure that we have good governance in this country.
Right.
And that would be very important.
Let's talk some politics now as we come to the end of our conversation. And of course, the biggest question this entire week has been, what next after Raila Odinga? And part of that conversation is directed at the Houses of Parliament, that at some point many Kenyans felt that these houses, with a broad-based arrangement, the marshalling of numbers for both ODM and UDA was simply working for the executive, for the president, and whatever goes to Parliament, because at the end of the day, they make a decision on a vote. And because of the numbers, that anything, despite the fact that there may be criticism, including on some of these things we're talking about, that if they voted and the president wanted this law passed, it would simply pass. Do you think that is going to sustain now that Raila Odinga has exited the scene? Do you still see that that will be a problem going forward?
First of all, I want to acknowledge that the Right Honorable Raila Odinga had a good political career. He was energy minister and also minister for roads. He was the AU representative for Africa. He was minister for 20 years, and he was actually the second prime minister of Kenya. And what I heard Junet saying during the send-off of Raila, he said, first of all, there's going to be the implementation of the NADCO report. And you see the NADCO report is talking about the formalization of the CDF and actually putting the same for women reps and senators. It is also talking about the expansion of the selection of the IEBC selection panel. It is also talking about the creation of the office the opposition and a prime minister position being created. So first of all, I think that is what is going to happen, because this is something that will be done to honor the right honorable Raila Odinga, and we don't know whom are going to be put in those positions. Politically, in the National Assembly, some members of ODM, some legislators of ODM, we have already seen there are already political rifts happening between ODM. So yes, some will go to opposition and some will fully support the president. So it will not be 100% support for President William Samoei Ruto, because we can see already there's a drift. There are those who are saying, Baba said we should listen to the ground. Others are saying, Baba said we should be in the broad-based government. And those who are talking about the that Baba said that they should be in the broad-based government, they are crying out loudly. We could see Mbadi, how he was speaking that day during the funeral. Actually, he was wailing in speech. So I think most of these people are putting their job. They are feeling that, since Baba has left, our jobs are at risk. But no, you see, the president, I always say, as much as some people, not all, as much as some people hate William Ruto is a political schemer. He's someone who knows what he's doing. And I feel like even these political spewing of tribal that came from Mutahi may be one of his scripts to ensure that there are some emotion that has been created within the country, and then some people will start saying, now because Mutahi has said this, I'm going to support the president for a second time. Because I had some people saying that, actually. Because of that, I'm going to punish Mutahi Kahiga by voting for William Samoei Ruto. So what will happen in Kenya right now is a political shift, because the person who was speaking for Kenyans, first of all, is not there. And those who are abusing Raila the most so that they can get elected, it will not be there. And those who are praising Baba, it is you, niwewe, so that they can get elected, Baba is not there. So people have to work hard, especially those legislators who have not been working for the common mwananchi, just thinking, I will hang on Baba's coat and get elected. It is not that way anymore. It is not going to be business as usual. Definitely. Because people have to work for the people right now. There's no more political aligning on Baba for them to get sympathy, or there's no more abusing Raila Odinga the loudest so that you can get elected in your area. Yes.
Jared, what do you feel the future of ODM will be? That has been the most talked about political party in the last 1 week.
Thank you very much, Fred. No, that comes with a lot of emotions as well. I'm a member of ODM, and I think one legacy that the ODM party and the ODM members, be it legislatures or even the technocrats that we are having, is holding that party together in its legacy. That is one. Number two, as she puts it, we don't have rift in ODM party. We have what we call mature democracy in ODM party. I think the conversation was even there when Raila Odinga was leaving, when Baba was with us here. So there's no rift as we're putting it. We just we can contain and also accommodate the dissenting voices from within. That is one. Number two, it was very clear when Baba told us that we are having a pact with William Ruto until 2027. And I think that remains, that we have a pact with the UDA party. And it is very clear again that Mzee was very clear that the NADCO report need to be implemented 100%. We are still waiting to see. Mzee told us again that after 2027, we'll have the scorecard checked. Did William Ruto implemented the NADCO report and the agenda that it represents to the country? We are still there. Again, Mzee taught us that it is not about power, it's about legacy. ODM parties are going to defend and work on the legacy of the Mzee Raila Odinga, the CGH, and not the power of Raila Odinga. That is, I think, very clear. People will talk. People will give their voices, including even those who are not even wielding any power. And I think the other day you hosted one of the youth in this studio here. He's not holding any position. He joined the latest, but he's having the guts to address the issue of the party. So we ask ourselves, who are you? If Ando sign inside there, he doesn't even understand the pillars, the policies, the ideology of the political party, ODM party. It is so disheartening that the newcomers want to come and dictate to us what needs to be done, and even calling out the longest serving AC in the party, ODM. So there are some people, we'll call them to order.
Interestingly, it's a younger politicians now.
No.
Are you talking about
yes, exactly. Are these people not younger politicians? That is, it is going to be very clear. And the position of the party, this I think we all know, we all agree, that the ODM party is the only party in this country that has structures from the polling station with the leadership. I'm from a polling station. I'm from a ward. I'm from a constituency. That young man, which polling station does he come from? Which constituency does he come from before he comes here to lecture our SG? If it's someone's mouthpiece, we'll shut that mouth. And there are those, as she was putting it, John Mbadi, the CPF, was not willing. Mbadi was speaking his heart. And I think for the first time in history, since the UDA came into power, it was the only time 2024, 2025 finance bill that we never had hiccups. If you check the finance bill 2023, 2024, 2022, 2023 finance bill, the two finance bills for the government of Ruto, we had hiccups and people on the street. John Mbadi has the capacity, has the expertise that's required for that. So John Mbadi spoke his heart. Okay. And I think he was mourning his leader as I finish. As I finish.
More on the way forward. What next after Raila?
On the way forward for ODM. On the way forward, I'm not mourning. I am celebrating a legacy.
Are you wailing also?
I'm not wailing. On the way forward is very clear, Fred, and you'll agree with him, that where we are as a party, there's leadership. And the leadership will convene. They will give us subsequently what to be done. We are still in the phase of mourning our leader for the next 30 days. And the way forward is very clear. Once off from the ODM Youth League, we will defend the legacy of Raila Amolo Odinga with our sweat and blood. We will walk on his talk, not on his power, but on his legacy.
All right. Power definitely abhors a vacuum. Raila Odinga has exited the scene.
Yes.
Is it an opportunity for the Gen Z to take over that? Or do you see an opportunity for the younger politicians?
You know, I don't want to speak so passionate about ODM as my brother, Jared. But I want to go down the memory lane. When Jaramogi almost could foresee his exit in politics, there was an element of Ford Kenya and succession politics happened at that place. And Ford Kenya splitted into two. There was Ford Kenya and then there was Ford Asili. Ford Kenya was given to the late Michael Kijana Wamalwa, who Jaramogi preferred as his successor. But history also has taught us that the late Jaramogi also could foresee one Honorable James Orengo, who at that time was very popular to lead the Luo nation. But here comes a son of Jaramogi called Raila Odinga. All of a sudden, he takes over the community, and he takes over the community, not just in Luo Nyanza, but Western, the Coast region, and almost the entire nation. ODM is in a very critical place, as it has never happened before, because one, when a father dies in a home, it's no longer the same. So the family has to scramble here and there to put the pieces together. Here comes another popular person called Babu Owino, who has favor with the people, but the Odinga family have their own favor that since there's Raila Odinga Jr. who's there, he probably should be given the mantle of kingship of the party. So these are the conversations that is going on the street. And you know, Fred, I can only sympathize with ODM because one, Mr. William Ruto is a very cheeky man. He will succeed more if ODM is split, because that is his main agenda. Because he needs to control the votes of where Raila is coming from. And how do you control that? By creating division.
Right.
So I can only sympathize and pray quietly for the people of ODM, because right now it means whether they like it or not, they are going to war.
Beyond ODM, definitely even the politics of this country will change with the exit of Raila Amolo Odinga, even with beyond ODM as a party. What do you see? Do you see an opportunity for younger Kenyans?
Oh, Fred, I kid you not. Politics changed on 25th June 2024, where young people came to the street without any single mobilization from old politicians. So it's just a matter of when, not if.
All right. Yes, Wilfred.
First of all, I feel like the most affected people are Mulembe Nation people. And you see, Mulembe Nation believes so much in Raila Odinga, and all of them are like almost 70% used to vote for Raila in the elective times that he vied. So first of all, I had my friend talking about Kijana Wamalo. Michael Kijana Wamalo was a good man, and he was really, he's the one who was supposed to unite Mulembe Nation. And when he died, fortunately, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga came and honored him, and that is why you saw how Mulembe Nation mourned and took some cows even to the Opodo farm. So I feel like the most affected people are Mulembe Nation. They have become now even more confused. They don't know where to follow. They don't know if they will be united for the first time. And secondly, I want to say more young people are going to get elected. And actually, this is the time more people are coming up, not because of their money, not because of how much they're going to give, but expect a change in parliament. There will be more young people in parliament.
Yes, Brian.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Kenya's politics without Raila.
Kenya politics without Raila is a change of its own, because the acumen, the charisma that the late Honorable Raila Odinga had was one of a kind and second to none. So I want to reply to my sister. There's no place like Mulembe. They are Kenyans. And Kenyans are never confused, because they always vote on the party lines in purpose of the ideology for transforming this country. Another thing that he's saying that William Ruto, maybe that script is part of him for Mutahi Kagwe speaking that way. I think she's undermining the sobriety, the intellectualness of the voters during election, and that's something that should be put in the right way. And then I want to say this, ODM and UDA arrangement is beyond 2027. Remember, our president is founder of the ODM and is the party leader of UDA. So that is very important. So it's just the two parties who are coming together and to work together to transform this country.
Are you not concerned about the future of UDA party, which you're a member of? Because the president,
you see, there's one thing you have to understand.
The party leader has been talking about ODM more than any other party.
Remember, he's now the statesman, the national father of this country.
What if
and ODM is just part of UDA in an extension.
No.
So he is...
No.
I'm telling you the reality.
No.
And we're going to work together. The presidential candidate is from UDA. The deputy president is from UDA. The ODM is our partner for transforming this
Jared seems to disagree.
Thank you so much. I think you can't entirely say that ODM is part of UDA. We are in a working pact on agenda. Actually, we don't have a political arrangement with UDA. We have to
Fred,
Brian.
There is something my brother have to understand.
Brian,
the philosophy, the carrier of ideology of transforming this country is the ruling party.
Which is UDA.
UDA. And ODM is joining UDA to transform this country.
I like this debate.
Yes, Jared. Brian, as you put it, my brother, we have a pact.
We're in broad base.
Until 2027. And it is, Baba used to say that we call what we call critical compromising. It compromised when things were not working for the country, Kenya. But Baba, again, if you remember the famous say, who told you? So the who told you is not beyond 2027. But they are fathoming what the UDA guys, they are longing for us to have the pact beyond 2027. Before nimalize kidogo. Number two, you have asked about a vacuum. Fred, I'll tell you and other panelists here, in the vacuum that I have left, nobody can ever feel it. Nobody can fit in issue.
Fred, let me learn, because this is my last opportunity. And I want to say this. The broad-based arrangement, it's very exclusive on its 10 points agenda.
Yes.
Very clearly. But politically for 2027, we are in one arrangement. It's only that majority of the party leaders in the ODM, everyone was saying, I was told with the BAMBA. Yeah. So I don't know who was told the truth. But I know William knows.
We only have 2 minutes, so I'll give you each about 30 seconds for your final comments. Let's start with you, Winfred.
First of all, I just want to ask my friend Brian, what if today the president left UDA and joined ODM? It means you will now remain a political orphan in UDA. And you will have no option than to join Jared in his party, because as the UDA chairperson, I know you solely believe in the president as your party leader.
Yes.
And I just want to correct you again.
We only have 30 seconds. Yeah.
It's over.
Don't introduce a new debate. Final comments.
Okay, my final comment is this. Young people out there, get out and go vie for those positions, the MCAs, the members of parliament, and senators, women reps. I know for the president, we have not seen anyone who's serious yet. But if anyone pops up, we the young people are ready to support him or her. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Winfred. Jared, final comment.
Thank you very much, Fred. I think I'll take this opportunity again to the ODM Youth League members, the ODM Women League, the ODM Mainstream, the ODM people living with disabilities. This is a rallying call. I think the best way to the ODMers to mourn and defend the legacy of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the CGH, is to work on its legacy and put Kenya first, beyond our political affiliation, beyond our individual wants and needs. And I think we only have one party, the party ODM. That's the best and the biggest legacy that we can have for our party leader.
Thank you, Jared. Nick, 30 seconds.
Well, I can only sympathize with the wrangling war between ODM and UDA. I think that gives us a shaping conversation for my party, because it's a new party, and I do not have to focus on what's going on. We've lost a hero, and regardless of our political affiliations, Baba was Baba, and we can all agree, whether in UDA, whether in ODM, whether in KAP, that we are not. It's going to take us a long time before we have that Baba again. Right. Secondly, it is to urge young people that it is time to take your political conversation to the next level. Tweeting alone, talking alone on social media is not enough. We need to take a lot of time to read these bills. We need to take a lot of time to go to do a lot of research as well, and also to go to the ground.
All right.
It's very important. And lastly, Fred, it is to thank that this panelist and the entire TV47 crew, you, producer Mary Washuka, and the entire TV47 crew. Asante.
Asante sana. Finally, Brian.
I want to say this to the young people. Let's join political parties. It is a vehicle and very instrumental for democratic praxis, and also to ensure that we carry the ideologies that will help transform this country. And the political parties are very important at this aspect of democracy. And also for my people from Cherangani constituency, I'm the incoming member of parliament. And thank you, TV47, for hosting me.
Thank you so much. Kipkorir Brian, aspirant for the Cherangani parliamentary seat, is also the chairperson UDA National Youth Congress. Asante sana. Nick Mwangi, Secretary General of the Kenya Ahadi Party, Jared Oye from the ODM Youth League, and Winfred Asiko, a political analyst. Thank you for your time at T47. That has been the youth perspective. But let's take a look at the headlines once more. Ruto, the student who defied his teacher Raila, that's the People Daily. On Business Daily, Kenya in talks to pay Adani over cancelled electricity deal. Daily Nation, another cabinet reshuffle looms. We could be getting news on that. On the Standard, Ruto after Raila is a question many people are asking, what happens next after Raila Odinga's exit? Ruto kusuka upya serikali ndio habari kuu pale kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti la Taifa Leo. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, on the Weekend Star, no smooth ride for Ruto in ODM takeover plots. And you've just seen that exchange here on the panel. Thank you so much. My name is Fred Indimuli. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the State of the Nation.